I'd like to call the meeting to order. It is 5:11. Additions, we've got, let's see, 2 in the select board memo for the moon bid review. And also review final select board report. Those are 2 additions. Zoe's got 1 and so does Deb. What's yours?
Mine is a personnel issue.
A personal issue or personnel issue?
Personnel.
Personnel issue.
If select board members are considered a personnel.
Okay. And we've got the one of the moon bid. And Deb, what do you have?
I have a question about the permit that you were just issued for the town garage.
Oh, great.
Not the garage itself, but the boundary adjustment.
Yeah. Okay. They didn't want to put it out in the swamp. Okay. And select board report and you want to do the boundary adjustment. Okay. So review of minutes, January 6th. Right here.
Carl found one thing that changed that I should have seen. I offered to check in with the local historic society.
I'm sorry, you offered to check in with who?
The historical society's 250th
Celebration.
year
Yeah.
celebration. I offered to check in with East Montpelier.
Oh,
The
okay.
local.
Oh, right, it
the
wasn't the
local-
state.
I'm sorry.
That was Carl's find.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's not to ensure that they have our town's resolution of participation,
Oh,
but it's
right,
to
right,
see
right,
what
to
their
see-
plans are.
Right, to see what they're planning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Um,
Yeah, I have some. Under public comment, I think it's worth confirming. Mr. Dwayne wanted to confirm that the agenda was posted on the website. I would add in parentheses afterwards, it was. And asked if the agenda could be posted on Front Porch Forum in the future. I'd say a semicolon, the town will make an effort to do so. Does that sound reasonable?
yeah,
This one was, right?
Yeah,
sounds good.
Got that, Rosie?
got it.
Okay, and then under review town meeting warning and choose date for informational meeting, I think it's worth adding the final sentence, the select board agreed to the February 17th date.
Okay, so where did you want that, the final sentence?
Yeah, just append that to.
And we
the
did
paragraph.
agree to it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
recall whether there was a motion or not, but pretty sure we agreed to it.
Okay, thank you.
And then at the top of page 2, it looks like there's a sentence trailing off, the first one.
Oh,
Historical value.
There you are.
I'm not sure how that's intended to be completed.
It was regarding the historical value
Of
of the
changing-
slope floor or?
Leveling the floor is what.
No, but, yeah, but
Oh,
the
okay.
historical value of the sloping floor,
Okay,
right?
sure,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. And then we could say there has been some complaining about bad backs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
there's been some complaints about the effect of the sloping floor on backs.
Hmm.
And then, if you're ready, Rosie,
All right,
under proposed budget FY 26, at the end of the first line, please replace Heath with health.
yep,
And that's it.
typo.
It's a sort of, Heath is a sort of thing that spell checker doesn't catch.
did you have anything else?
That was it for me.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Second?
Any more discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes appear to have the do have it. Okay. All right. Oh, we have another bunch of minutes, January 10th. That is the town garage interview meeting minutes draft.
This is a very thorough capture of a lot of things that were discussed at a meeting where we discussed a lot of things. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
it was- Yes,
Back and
thank you.
forth.
Thank you for the detailed notes. Those of us that weren't there, it was very helpful.
I just have one comment. If you go all the way to the last page, the third bullet from the end, I'm wondering about the way that that is phrased, but we should tear down the old building ASAP. We discussed that. We discussed the advantages of doing it. I don't believe that the group assembled decided that that was the best thing to do. I'd say in the best of all possible worlds, construction of the new garage would be easier if the new buildings were torn down ASAP, but we need a place to store equipment and tools while the new one's being constructed, something along those lines. Does that conform to the memory of the people who are here?
So we could just change the verb. We could say we could tear down old buildings. It'd be just a nightmare. Raise costs, it'd be a safety hazard. And we could move equipment over to another building if possible. You could just change those two words.
That's a simple
Yeah,
fix.
that'd be easy.
Yep.
Okay. Because that was just like, it's a possibility.
Yeah.
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 Okay. You have a motion?
Make a motion, accept the minutes as amended.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Sure to have, they do have it. I don't know what that is.
Yes, I say yes.
Oh, yes, okay. I just don't see you, I'm missing it, missing your picture. There we go. Okay. Public comment. Nada.
Deb's here, maybe we
What's that?
we move on to Deb's and she's
No.
here? Oh.
Well, we got someone here for the rec board. I don't think it's fair to make him wait.
Oh,
He's been waiting for
Sorry.
a while, we started 11 minutes late.
Yeah.
So the poor soul has been sitting there chewing his nails and get him up here. Approve rec board revised athletic policy and grant update possible motion. So what are you gonna talk about? first?
I think.
And what's your name? I can't remember.
Sorry, Nick Vandenberg, I'm the treasurer of the group.
Okay,
So thank you for putting me on the agenda.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd start with the update to the athletic policy.
yeah,
So it hadn't been updated, I think, since 2018, so it's due.
okay,
And so we just added some language to strengthen the expectations for participants, parents, spectators, and coaches as well. And then updated some of the other, just like the board members at the top. It was basically just a regular review and update of policies.
So I would be happier approving this if we had a red line version of it, so we could see what the changes are.
Okay.
I started looking through it and thought, boy, we put some thought, you guys put some thought into the previous version, and it'd be really helpful for me to know what was changed before approving
I have a quick question. Why are we approving that board's policy?
Because they're on the elected commission.
it. Right, they are committee of this.
So they have.
Yeah.
so how many changes did you make? I guess Carl was asking where they were.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the changes were primarily in the, under the page 4 sportsmanship code of conduct, so there's a section there, expectations for participants.
For
Sportsmanship code of conduct,
Yeah, it starts on page 4.
yeah,
Through page 6. And then on page.
I don't
7,
remember this being in the last one, was it?
There were, but it wasn't as comprehensive.
Okay,
So we really tried to make an effort to be more comprehensive, so that way if issues do come up, then we have a policy that's,
Yeah,
you know, we can actually kind of stand behind. And have this covered. I'd be happy to provide a red line version.
I don't expect there'll be any problems, but if I'm gonna approve something, I would want to know what the substance of it is.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, this is something that we worked with in another organization I'm on the board of. Does it make any sense to have the board members listed in the policies? And generally the way
I had
we.
a comment about that myself when we started reviewing it, like, why don't we, because otherwise it's just gonna be outdated. and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we have a running
Right.
list on the website or
Yeah.
about who's on what board.
I'm glad you brought that up. I had the same question and I
Okay.
thought, well, maybe we were supposed to have it in there. I didn't really know. If it
Yeah.
was a
I don't think so.
rule
really.
of the policy
No.
or something. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, Mr. Hess,
It just seemed a little odd. Under number 6, coaches shall follow the following guidelines. All coaches must be 18 years and over, which is fine. And then you put assistant coaches must have attained a minimum grade level of sophomore in high school. Therefore, regular, full coaches do not have to have a minimum grade level of sophomore, but just assistant. Just seemed odd.
You're looking for a high school degree from head coaches, Scott?
I'm not looking for anything. It just seemed why assistant coaches, that was singled out rather than all coaches. Just head coaches don't have to have a minimum, but assistant coaches do. Just was curious.
There are probably some high school dropouts who would make good head coaches.
No big deal. It was just a curiosity.
Yeah, no, I can certainly address that.
yeah, we're gonna move forward on this, so. but we're just-
Yeah, I'm not trying to belabor the point. Just-
Maybe come back to it at a different meeting.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because we don't have the, unless he's got it handy, we just print it off.
No, I'll need to take some time to get there, because there were like a fair amount of changes. So I can.
Okay,
I don't really have to.
so shelve it and come back and then meet.
Yeah.
And you wanna give us a grant update?
Yeah.
What I see here. Last thing I knew, you need a permit to go in your package for your pavilion.
Right, yep, so I submitted the permit application, it looks like I'm on the agenda for the DRB in a week or so, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a nice application. I'd approve it.
really?
I'm not on the DRB, so I can say that.
Appreciate your support. Yeah, so as far as the grant, so when I was here in December, I think I, shared what the proposal was for the project and described at that time that we had just submitted what they call a pre-application.
Yeah.
To Forest Parks and
Right.
Recreation. And so since that meeting, they responded that our pre-application was accepted and therefore we've now been invited to submit a full application.
Oh.
And the deadline for that is March 15th. And so as part of that full application, that's when I would need, because when I presented, generally folks were supportive, and then it was basically left at that, I would let you know kind of what I needed from you to
Yeah.
move forward. So basically, all I need is a letter of support from the
Yeah.
select board saying that, you
Yeah.
generally support the idea. And I think it would be helpful if the letter also just mentions, because there were, I forget what it's called, like the opportunity fund or something, or the, so whatever those funding sources are in the Carlton Smith, just, if those are just mentioned in there, that like, yep, we've agreed to support the project and we have these funds that are available to provide X amount, should the project move forward. So that's the one thing I would be asking for from the select board. And then, yeah, as the DRB meeting, depending how the timeline works out on that, I can at least demonstrate in the application, whether or not the permit is in hand at that point.
Yeah.
By March 15th, at least I can demonstrate like we were at the meeting, we presented, and
Yeah.
just demonstrating our readiness to
Uh-huh.
move forward with the project, which is important in the grant application.
When we write letters of support for organizations, we can provide really excellent, helpful letters when the organization gives us a draft.
Yep, I was gonna ask that.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that.
And the other thing is, do you have to be that specific about the funding sources? Can you just be a little more gray?
I mean, it
Say
doesn't-
the fund town has various sources they could draw the money from, or various funds. You know, I
my,
hate to be that so too specific about at this point of the game. I'd like to help you, but I'd also like to say, you know, be a little more gray about where the money's gonna come from.
sure,
Because we really haven't studied it, or I haven't studied about, you know, where we are financially and where we can draw money from that's gonna have the least effect on our other, you know,
Understood.
needs, our other needs.
yeah, no, and I certainly appreciate that. If, I mean, if we were in a position to be that specific, I think it's helpful, you know, based on the, 50-page grant
50
application
pages?
guidance. The guidance document, I'm just saying, in reading that,
Yeah, okay,
it seems to just generally indicate, like, the
Yeah.
more specific you can be, the
okay,
better it helps, but if we
Gotcha.
can't, we can't, that's no big deal.
Well,
But just a letter of support would be
yeah.
sufficient.
okay.
Yeah. and
Town of
then-
East Montpelier has been in business since 1848 and always pays its debts.
Perfect.
Yeah,
And then one other thing I'll need is just proof of ownership or a deed, and then any record of any deed restrictions for the parcel that the shelter will be built on. The other thing I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of is that, as my rudimentary understanding of the LWCF program, and the town of East Montpelier has done 2 of these in the past, one in like 1976, and the most recent was in 2009. It said for the playground, which I think maybe that
It
was at
was
the school.
it was the playground at the school,
At the
and the
school.
other one was for the well that they
Oh, okay.
redid.
Perfect. So it sounds like we have some experience with it, but basically, if you take money from LWCF to improve your property or to buy property, either one, then it's essentially, it's supposed to be like conserved for recreation purposes only in perpetuity. So as long as we don't have an issue with that as a town, saying like, you know,
Right.
the recreation parcel will be whatever,
Yeah.
conserved for
yeah,
recreation purposes in perpetuity,
Right.
then I just
See, I
want to
don't
make sure.
think that says that on that, I don't even know,
I'll have to look at the.
we'll have to look up the deed. Yeah, okay,
So would we have to pledge that or make that commitment in connection with the application?
Basically, yeah, I mean, if
kinda
we're,
sounds like it, they're not gonna give you money if you're gonna change the
Right.
purpose of the whole thing,
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking, oh, we give them $50,000 and 2 years later, they sell it off for a housing development.
yeah,
Right.
so in that case, kind of an idle question that occurred to me while looking at the application becomes highly pertinent perhaps. I just hadn't really thought about the size of this parcel and how the actual rec field is maybe a third of the actual parcel. How is the rest of the parcel used?
No, well, it's swamp behind it,
I was gonna say.
and then does it go in the woods?
Yeah,
It goes in the
there's
woods,
some woods in there, yeah, yeah.
Very few, little, it's mostly swamp.
it's probably not that usable for anything else,
Uh-huh,
yeah, it's kind of like.
right, wetlands, and beep, beep,
it's good conservation.
yeah, there you go. Okay, well, we're gonna have to look at the deed,
Okay.
we'll put it on a to-do list.
Excellent. So yeah, I will provide a draft then of a letter of support.
Yeah, that'd be great,
Yep.
we can always tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I had. So I'll come back with a red line version of the athletic
Yep.
policy and the draft of the letter of support.
It's clear that you're putting a lot of careful work into this, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one last question for you.
Yeah.
Do you have any relatives out in Western New York, Canada, actually? Not Niagara,
But I know, I'm from
Not in
Wisconsin
Canada?
originally, but
oh, really?
yeah,
We're in Wisconsin.
like Marshfield areas, like kind of the center of the state.
Okay, I'm from Eau Claire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And you have no relatives in Canada, by Niagara?
Not that I know of.
Oh, okay.
My dad was a truck driver,
Sorry,
so
not
who knows, I
excited.
could have a lot of relatives around the country.
Well, because I played polo with Phil Vandenberg this past weekend,
Oh,
and
is
his
that right?
family. Yeah, they was down in Florida, because they started a polo club down there, but they're from Niagara, but the Canadian side.
Oh, okay,
So they have a big polo club there. He was from a dairy farm. He was a dairy farmer.
Yeah.
And he went into polo, and then he's starting a polo club down there. And it's Phil Vandenberg, same last name.
interesting. Yeah. Few of us are not
Is it Dutch or German?
Dutch, yeah.
It's a
Dutch, yeah.
weird name to be from the Netherlands, from the mountains.
No matter.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know.
All right, well, we know what to do.
Close enough.
Anything else?
That's all I had.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So no one else is waiting for us, so we could do Deb's boundary adjustment question. Is that, so then you can head home or something? Or if you want to get a whole bunch.
Stuff is going to town report, which is probably what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, we've got some stuff to do that, yeah.
Budget and stuff like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, the boundary adjustment,
Okay. Well, if you look at the red thing here,
yeah,
the 1.7 acre town
Yeah.
garage parcel has been considered merged with number 46, the 23 acres. In the town report, for the last, I've done 24 town reports. And every single one of them has shown town garage, 20, there was a 24.7 acres.
okay, well,
And the reason is because if you look at the sheet that has the zoning regulations on it, if you have a non-complying lot, this is a 7 acre zone, you guys are in, right?
yeah, I know.
So in a 7 acre zone, if you have a non-complying lot, which is the garage, and then you buy the land next to it and it's undeveloped, then it's deemed merged because you're trying to bring things into compliance.
Okay.
And for most people, they're happy about that because it gives them a tax break.
Yeah.
Because we don't get a second site value and we merge, we take all of their bulk land and give them a bulk land rate. We've done it to at least 3 people that I can name, but I won't. Because that's exactly what they did. They lived in a 4 acre parcel in a 7 acre zone. They bought the one next door, had 3 acres, and we said, that's a 7 acre, thing.
Yeah.
There you go. So,
But that's for taxation purposes.
yes, this is tax exempt, so of course.
Yeah.
We never prioritize,
Yeah.
making clear that's what's going on here, so the tax map should have been updated, really. The dotted line between 1.7 and 23 should have been disappeared, and it should have been written up as just 124.7 acre lot, that's how we would treat other people.
Yeah,
So we're looking at this and thinking, you didn't solve the non-compliance here by moving the boundary line, you should have moved it enough to create a 7 acre
Yeah, I
lot out of those, out of the 2, the
Yeah, yeah.
garage and the fire station, and just take 2 more acres.
I know.
You've got a 3.2 acre lot, you're halfway there.
yeah, but the thing is that they didn't want to have restrictions on the rest of the land. That's what the civil engineer said. In the future, there, and recreational uses, there may be some other things that they need to do with the land. So when you create the 7 acre lot for the town garage, that automatically makes it so you can't do the other uses for the town forest or whatever. That 3.5 acres, that would now be included in the town lot. What it does is preempts any uses that you may have for the town forest in the future.
Well, let me ask you something, why isn't the 1.5 acre, which would be my next question, why isn't that being belonged onto this parcel also for the same reason? That's another standalone 1.5 acre, I looked at the deeds, all 4 of these were bought at different times over the years.
Oh, the 1.5 is the one with the angle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why that's not,
Well, if you join that, then you're not 3 acres short, you're.
Yeah.
Only
Couple
1.5,
acres, right.
1.7, 1.8 acres short.
yeah, I don't know why that's not included. I think there was some discussion on that.
Because you could put a right of way over that if you made that
Yeah.
one thing,
Uh-huh.
And then getting 7 acres out of it could include the land between them, because if it's a right of way, it's still gonna count as acreage to the 7 acres.
Yeah.
You've got the 1.5 acre, and the whole reason to do this is to be treated the same as everybody else in town. But also, there's a second reason. We're trying to get clarity because Kevin, when he wrote this, when he approved this permit, didn't read the regs in the same way we're reading them. He didn't think that he was going against the regs. And the listers are reading the regs and saying, we're treating people in town differently. We need clarity on this, so that we're not getting 2 different stories from 2 different departments when people come in to talk to us about this stuff.
Yeah, but you're saying is what happens is they automatically get merged when the 2 non-compliant lots side by side.
The second one doesn't have to be non-compliant, this has to be undeveloped.
Yeah, yeah,
One of them has to be undeveloped.
undeveloped, and then you automatically
And-
merge it. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I was having a conversation with Kevin about this and saying, I don't think you can do that because read the zoning regulations, because, And he said, well, the only way you can resolve it now is appeal to the DRB, thinking, I could take an appeal to the DRB, but in fact, the interested parties to bring an appeal to the DRB would be the town and a budding landowner and a couple of other categories, none of which apply to listers, so I can't bring an appeal to the DRB, not that I want to appeal your guys' permit anyway, but the DRB would be the body that could say,
Yeah.
this is the correct interpretation,
Right.
and you guys are doing it right, and
Right.
the other guy's not doing it right, whatever, so we are all on the same page, that's all.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say is that
Yeah.
we're under pretty much a time constraint here. And we've got to get our stormwater permit in place now.
Well,
90
they're
days.
trying to get around that.
Oh, yeah?
You probably heard it on the meeting. They're trying to circumvent that by, I think we're 100 and some odd feet over the limit to have one.
Yeah.
And they're trying to move
Yeah.
stuff around enough so we don't have to.
Now that is on unpermeable surface,
Correct.
correct?
Correct.
And so they're saying the roof is unpermeable.
Right.
And any paving that's it.
Well, there's something to do with the floor plan of the garage too. Which I only caught part of it,
Okay,
and they think by, you know, how we moved that back 6 feet.
Yep.
That might help.
Huh.
Anyway, they were gonna investigate it.
yeah, because that's just kind of.
They're gonna talk about it on this coming Friday.
Okay,
Anyway,
okay,
So the only other thing I was gonna say is, you know,
we'll take it under advisement.
yeah, when I was faced with, you know, Kevin saying, why don't you just appeal to the DRB and then they can decide which one is right, and I thought,
Well, no, you're,
I don't
yeah,
wanna be appealing the select. board's
Right.
permit.
okay,
But I thought, you know, maybe we could get a decision from the town attorney that says, this is the way the town of Montpelier zoning regs should be interpreted, so that both departments are interpreting them the same and treating things the same way.
Yeah.
We need some clarity on this, that's all.
because you've been automatically merging them for taxation
Yeah,
purposes.
because that's.
And even for non-taxation
Well, for
purposes, you're
zoning
merging.
For zoning purposes
Yeah.
also, they've been
Yeah.
merged. And in the town report, we've been reporting this 24.7 acres for 24 years, and beyond that, it didn't go back any further, I just looked at the ones I worked on.
Well, it was reported as one lot, which is kind of is under town ownership. But within that lot, there's been these boundary lines. Within the
So-
whole lot.
Right, but if you read the zoning regs that I gave you, it says they deemed merged, it came from the state law, and we adopted the same.
Yeah.
language.
All right,
Anyway, so
What's
we
your
need,
question?
we need clarity on this, and if you
Okay.
guys, you know, wanted to make sure that you were doing everything by the book and being treated the same as everybody else, assuming our interpretation is correct.
yeah,
Would moving that line, including that 1.5 acre and solving the whole problem, making a 7 acre parcel, would that really put your schedule back if you're?
I don't know, I'll have to find out.
We also had one of the folks from Connor, I believe,
Yeah.
who at that meeting who was saying, you know, I really pushed for you guys to get a conforming lot here.
Yeah,
He didn't explain why.
Right.
Might have been John Connor.
I can't remember who said it, but I remember I had asked the same question
Yeah.
at the meeting, the DRB meeting.
I think it
And then I
was
shut my
Ben.
mouth. What's that?
I think it was Ben that. brought
But I
that.
talked to the civil engineer who zoomed in, he said blah, 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 blah,
Uh-huh.
talking about, well, you know, town forest and blah, 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 they may have other uses for the land.
Right.
So you're taking land away from their uses,
Right.
you know, because the lot that we envision now is only 3 point whatever it is acres.
Mhm.
You're gonna double it, so you're gonna take 3.5 acres out of the rest of the parcel.
Mhm.
So, I don't know, to me, it's,
So you were saying that in general, landowners are happy with having these
Well,
their
yes.
lots merged?
Yes,
Um,
because of being taxed.
Yes,
And
so
if
are
you
there
have two-
cases, if I could finish
I
the
can
question?
name 3 that I know personally.
Could I finish my question? So what I'm wondering is, are there people who are unhappy with that, who might, in an appeal, point to this process and saying?
Yes,
it
one of the
worked?
people I was going to, that I know about because they came in and wanted to re-separate and said, I have 2 original deeds, so there's 2 parcels.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were told by the zoning administrator and the
I remember
listeners,
that.
can't do it, it's
Yeah.
been merged,
Yeah.
and it can't be unmerged now because you still have non-compliant lot, it wasn't even 7 acres with 2 of them together.
Yeah, but we're not undoing it. Just to
No.
push back against you.
No, you're basically undoing what we already deemed merged. in a sense.
Yeah, well, you deemed it merged, but it wasn't really merged. The boundary lines were still there.
Well, if that doesn't mean any, well, that's just a tax map, we gotta erase that line on the tax map, and it probably wasn't a high priority because you're not being taxed, so it
Yeah.
got forgotten about.
Right.
But the point is that, you know,
But-
if deemed merged doesn't really mean that you can't then separate them again, then we shouldn't be giving you a tax break because you can separate them again. Demerge means you can't.
Well, you
separate
can't
them.
separate them, I know that, because you cannot take two non-conforming lots, put them together, and then separate them and make them non-conforming again. You can't do that.
But the landowner didn't put it together by creating a merger deed and recording it in the town land records. There's nothing in the land records that's recorded. It's just
Okay.
that the zoning administrator and the listers are following the zoning regulations.
Yeah.
Saying we won't
Okay,
let
got
you
it.
not merge it because we're going by the zoning regulations.
Then why are we bothering doing all the boundary adjustments for the town garage? We don't need to do it. We've already got one big lot. We don't need it. We need it, don't need to be doing
Well,
anything.
you wanted to join it with the fire station because of the boundary between those two lots?
Yeah, well, that's town property. So, but the thing is, what you're saying though, is there's no boundaries.
Well,
That's what you're saying. You said it's been in the town
Right.
report for the last 25 years. There's no boundaries, right?
the,
It was merged.
the fire station has been standalone because it was already developed.
Okay,
Now, the 1.5, I looked in here and I was surprised to discover, the 1.5 acre lot is not on our list of town property. You know, this
Oh.
town property list,
yeah,
we've got the garage, salt
yeah.
shed.
Uh-huh.
Well, the salt shed is the 1.5 acres. Yeah, it's there, okay, sorry. It wasn't reading right. So,
Okay,
yeah, so that's how we've been carrying it, so, you know, and I don't understand why the salt shed didn't get merged as well, it probably should have been, so if I can fix that in this town report.
that definitely needs to be included in that lot.
So then it's gonna be 26.2 acres. And now you've added the other 1 acre lot to it, it's gonna be 27.2 acres, you're saying it's just one big lot.
Well, that's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
You said it's been in the town report, it's one big lot.
Right, we wouldn't necessarily have joined the fire station to the other because it was already developed, so it's
Yeah.
kind of grandfathered. But
Yeah.
If you wanna join it. Seems like that's the direction you're going in anyway.
All right,
So let us know what you guys think is happening,
okay,
but, and make sure we're all on the same page. at some
Okay.
point.
Let me ask, regardless of what happens with this lot, do you still need some sort of clarity between the listers and the zoning administrator?
Well, the appeal period ends, tomorrow's like the last day you can file an appeal. And it seemed to me that, you know, if you guys look at this and said, oops, yeah, we should have done it, we need to make a 7 acre lot. You could probably amend your permit or do something to change it, you know. And I don't know that that has to happen within the appeal period, so. I can't see you appealing your own permit, probably.
yeah, I
And you're
can't
the
even,
ones that are the interested party who can.
I don't think anybody's ever gonna give a damn. That's just plain English.
Except the person who comes along and says, how come the town didn't have to do it, I have to do it.
Yeah.
To go to
Okay.
Carl's question, which is why we're concerned, because our whole stock and trade is we treat everything the same, and
Gotcha.
everything's fair and simple and all that stuff. So
Which is what I mean, is it seems like you should be on the same page as the zoning administrator.
we're not on the same page right now, as far as I can tell.
Right.
We didn't have a lengthy conversation about it, but he basically just said, if you don't like my decision, then, and you think I interpreted the zoning regulations wrong, then go to the DRB and let them decide, because that's their job.
Okay, we better move on.
Thank you,
We'll
Thanks
look
for
at
raising
it.
okay,
So when I do the math on it kind of quickly here, that 1.5 is in the whole thing. The 1.5, 1.7, and the 1 acre, all added together. That comes up to 3.2.
is it? Okay,
Yes.
Okay,
So that's,
4.2 with 1.5.
no, he's.
Well, wait a minute.
No, he's saying.
One.
1.5 plus 1.7 is 3.2.
Yeah.
oh, right,
It's 4.2.
4.2, so I guess it's not in there. Well, something is because you've only got
Well, yeah, because
2.7.
because you took a little bit of the 23 acres too.
All right, I guess the 1.5 is not in there. I can't believe it's not. I gotta look at the new permit, the
Yeah,
new map. All I have is the old one. So you have two copies. We both have. this
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
but if you look at the survey map that's on the second page of your application, it's showing the garage parcels, the fire department parcel,
yeah,
and then a little, that triangle up there is taking another little chunk out of the 23 acres, that gives it
Yeah.
3.2, I believe.
okay,
I think that's what's going on there.
Yeah.
This is like a preliminary plan, I don't think it's final yet.
that's the thing that was there.
It was in the group of documents.
Oh, okay, okay. Kathy?
No,
Oh, the road right here. Fire department there.
Is it helpful to have the draft minutes from the VRB meeting?
I'm just trying to look at the map, trying to figure out what this map means. With this line here, doesn't it? This is the,
this says Templeton Road. That's.
oh, okay, this is the road.
but
Oh, this
then-
whole
but
thing is a
then
road.
This also says,
This is the fire department here.
yeah. And
What's this
then-
say right here? Yeah.
Here,
Yeah, I don't know. Where are all these
oh my God, that's the fire department.
so emerging? This is the new piece. Triangle, that's the triangle.
I think so.
Yeah, I do too. But what's this say right here?
It's indecipherable.
Yeah, what's this say? right here?
Something drive.
Oh, that's probably the,
This says stone wall. That says
Yeah.
iron pipe
oh,
found.
iron pipe, okay. It's about as clear as,
God, I'm getting
nothing.
older.
are you really? Me too, wait a minute.
I should be able to, I feel like I should be able to read this.
So this is where they're adding on.
Yeah,
This is what they're adding
where's
on.
the red map? I
Oh, right
can, I
here.
can add this line to that map. to make it
Yeah,
clear.
that would be really handy.
These two lines here are basically coming from this corner, going up to someplace like that and coming down around there.
Yes, right.
So
Yep.
that's your three, that's your 3.2.
Yeah.
This guy hanging out here doesn't make any sense, and so on.
And is this a right of way right here?
It's,
What you're talking about?
it's actually, land, it's not a right of way.
Oh. But we own this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you could make a 7-acre lot and things like that, and you
Yeah.
give yourself a right of way to get back here.
that's what I was thinking, but this
And
isn't added in.
No, it's not. I mean, it should be ground down to this, it should be joined to this.
Well, this should be to this. This is what salt shed is. So that's the school.
Yes, yeah.
The salt shed's gotta be included.
So maybe you should talk to your surveyor, then, because he hasn't included this. I mean, the process is to make a 7-acre lot, won't be a problem.
Yeah, I gotta look at it a little bit more. So where's the new map? This thing, this the new map?
Well, that's the sketch that was attached to the application.
Okay,
I don't know if that's the final.
okay, so what you're saying is this little triangle is not gonna include
Correct.
where the salt shed sits.
That's how I read it.
All right, well, we'll look into this. Maybe I'll look into it later.
Okay.
Okay,
Because you intended the salt shed to be part of the same parcel as the
Yeah.
garage and the fire.
yeah,
Makes
of
sense, and you can give yourself a
right.
right of way and connect.
If you
all
need to
that.
get the back, but there's already a way the town trail goes, by the sand pile and all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
down below.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna move on, but we'll look at this.
thank you.
Yeah. So the next thing on, and we are miles behind here, is the ECDD grant discussion. Authorize Katie to make sub-grant to CWF. And, oh, here it is right here. Okay, so Block Power CEO and CFO have resigned and interim leadership has been appointed in the past 3 months. Block Power programs totaling 100+ million with New York City have been placed on hold. Okay,
Is Ben Call involved in?
Yeah.
it sounds like it.
He was.
Oh, he was tuning in?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
up here.
still see you in 5 minutes.
Maybe we should ask him to
He's
get-
gone.
walk us through this.
Oh,
Yeah.
slept. Here he
Hello,
is.
Ben.
He's back.
Hey, folks, I've got to leave in a few minutes, unfortunately. But yeah, essentially this EECBG grant that we got from the state, we were originally going to have two subcontracts, one to this entity called Block Power and one to the Collective Well Foundation, which is the local nonprofit that Selena Barton's part of. And after we got the grant, between the time we submitted the grant proposal and the time we got the grant, Block Power kind of fell apart as an organization. And so we are now looking at proceeding with that work exclusively with Collective Well Foundation. They're confident that they can take on all of the important work that Block Power was going to do. And so we're now looking at the idea of having basically a sub-grant to Collective Well Foundation in the full amount of the grant. So basically Collective Well is going to do all of the work.
Yeah.
And the members of the Energy Committee and Jen will kind of, perform oversight, and the reporting will funnel through Jen, of course, because the grant from the state is to the town. But there would be a sub-grant to Collective Well Foundation.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the select board's role in all this?
Well,
What do you-
I think ultimately we will have to write a sub-grant for Collective Well Foundation, and that would need to be approved by the select board, I imagine, because it's just like issuing a contract or something along those lines.
So we're just gonna give you permission to rewrite the grant?
I think I mean, Jen can maybe clarify, but I think the idea of tonight's agenda item was just to put this on the select board's radar, see if the select board is comfortable with this approach, and then we would have to actually, put together a written document that would later
Okay.
have to.
All right, we'll put together the written documents, I guess,
So,
but
I mean, in this January 15th document that we have, is this from you, Ben?
So this document that I think you're looking at is a document that we are submitting to the state of Vermont as a sort of an update on the grant.
Okay, so if that's what it is, then we, the Energy Committee, and therefore the town, are proposing updates as follows. So are those the updates that you need us to approve? And if so, what's the timeline for us to do that so you can submit it in a timely manner?
That's a good question. So you'll notice that document has the word draft at the top of it. So this is actually the second version of this document. We're going back and forth with a person at the state level to kind of get the language at a point where they're comfortable with it, and Jen is comfortable with it. We're all comfortable with it. I don't know that we have a specific timeline in mind for final approval, but it would be nice to sort of have your blessing, at least for this overall direction as we move forward.
But didn't we give them the blessing before? But it's a different-
We did for two entities, and now
Yeah.
they're saying one's out of the picture.
Right.
We want to concentrate on CWF.
There's really no different.
Well, I mean, we would
It's a
have. to-
different entity that they're dealing with, but.
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
think we can do anything until we have some sort of document that knows exactly what to do.
Yeah, but we're just gonna say you developed a document.
yeah,
Yeah.
please
That's
go
what
ahead
I'm
and
saying.
develop this.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then I don't know, do we want some more detailed assurances that CWF can actually take on the parts of the project that Block Power was originally assigned to do?
That's-
I mean, how much work would that be? What would that look like, Ben?
Well, it is a decent amount of work. I'm not sure exactly which document you're looking at, but one version of the document that we've worked on has a table on the second or third page that lists the number of hours of
Yeah.
work that are expected from each of the people involved. And some of those people were originally going to be Block Power, but now all of these people are going to be associated with Collective Well Foundation or subcontracted by them. And yeah, we've had a couple meetings with them. They're very confident that they have the resources that they need and the connections to make this project successful. But certainly if you wanted to hear from them, you could invite them to a future select board meeting to hear directly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do that. On the other hand, we have a committee and they're experts who are looking at this and they know more about it than we do. So maybe if the committee assures us that they're confident that CWF can do it, we can take their word for it.
I mean, how much money are we gonna have to put into the pot? That's really our only.
You're putting in $0.
Yeah.
We're getting $85,000 from the state, and we're basically giving that granting $85,000 to Collective Well Foundation.
I don't see what our risk is financially.
Right, that we
We don't have it.
lose out on what we were hoping to get out of the grant.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's found money. It's found money
Yeah,
that we're
it's true.
coming up ourselves.
Yeah.
The taxpayers aren't coming up with it. They're going after some pot of money.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Just bring us the documents and we'll look this stuff over and keep pursuing what they're doing.
Yeah, your counterpart in the state that you're working with on this draft, Ben, are they able to give some oversight over CWF and their capabilities?
Not really oversight. It would be the town's role and the Energy Committee's role to provide the oversight of CWF. We basically had to persuade.
Are they able to give you some good evaluation of CWF's capabilities to perform the work that CWF would do here?
They have no insight into that. I mean, we have persuaded them that it's okay,
Okay.
but they don't have independent knowledge of CWF.
Okay.
All right.
So
I don't think we need
thank
a
you.
motion.
No,
I
no.
think we just need to give Ben the okay to come up with the next set of documents
Yeah.
for us to look at. Is
I agree.
that good for you, Ben?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So the next thing we have is a town garage discussion. What are we discussing on the town garage? I didn't go to the meeting. Oh, this right here. Which one was that piece? Oh, it's right here. Oh, no.
Seth? Contract and-
Oh, okay.
Mr. Blanchard is asking for your attention, sir.
Yes. Yeah,
So, I think there was just a few items. I saw the item on the agenda, so I thought I would tune in, but I think you covered the stormwater item, and Kevin Worden is very close to working on that. We did talk about the idea of the benefits of tearing down the existing building and building the new building all in one event. So that is still in pretty discussion phase, and I think you probably know that from what I gathered the discussion had earlier. And there has really been a determination on that, but we all agree there would be a benefit in consolidating the construction time and the cost. So it would also help with the stormwater permitting if one building sat over the other building. Kevin had expressed that, but it's still, we're still looking for a determination of no stormwater permit needed. We do not have that. And then the last thing that came out of the discussion was Connor Contracting brought up the fact that the switch gear for the building would probably be an 11 to 12 month lead item. So in order to get that on site sooner than later than waiting, the town may want to consider buying just the switch gear ahead of time. Like I would say at your next meeting, they are putting together a submittal and a price for that. So I'm just kind of giving you the heads up that at the next meeting, there might be an opportunity to purchase the switch gear ahead of time. The risk being that if you don't build the garage, you guys end up with a $5,000 piece of switch gear that is, I would say, somewhat marketable because they have such long lead items on them.
The switchgear is the electrical entrance.
The 600, yeah, it's gonna be, they're finalizing the size. I think it's gonna be around a 600 amp service.
Yeah.
And it's basically just the head end where it comes into the building.
Yeah.
And they are incredibly hard to find. They've got long lead items because of manufacturing. And, you know, it's a concern that we see on a lot of projects, and there is an opportunity because you guys have the ability to purchase it early. But
Yeah.
again,
Yeah,
I just wanted to make you aware of it.
No, there's no downside to it. That's what we'll do. We'll get that ASAP. We'll get the proposal from, what, Connor's putting that price together, or who's putting the price
Yes.
together? Connor, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get that.
Do we need to make a motion on every single thing that we buy for this project?
No.
This-
So just, this is unusual. This is a kind of out of the realm thing.
And once they get the specs on it, then we can go ahead and do it, but until we get the specs, we can't.
Right, but I mean, there are
Well,
lots
this
of things that they're gonna have to order for this project.
Yeah,
No,
but
but
this
this
is something
unusual.
that's about a year's lead time, the last one we ordered.
Right, so where's the cutoff on lead time on things that we have to approve?
Well,
here?
most of the stuff you can buy.
Most of the stuff you can just buy a little.
I mean, we'll probably just give
The
a
cutoff
blanket
is about 12 months.
to most of the stuff.
Yeah, so how do we do that?
I'm not sure how that's gonna work.
Okay.
Well, Guthrie was on the call and he said we think that he could find the money somewhere in budget.
No, Carl's asking about all the other items that. are
All the
gonna
other
come up.
items, that's the only one that came up.
All the other items will be covered under the GMP, Carl.
Okay,
General permit. Is that what you're saying?
no.
Yes, they'll be covered underneath a GMP with Connor Contracting.
Yes. So we'll make one motion,
Okay,
not
okay.
itemized motions,
Okay.
is what you're.
And I-
We're doing it ahead of time, in other words, before we approve what you're gonna spend.
And I thought we were going to approve something from Connor tonight,
That. was
Based on the
to award
January
the
10th?
contract,
pardon?
To award him the contract.
Right,
Yeah, that's a separate item.
okay,
We're awarding Connor the contract for the construction management.
but that doesn't give them the authority to buy stuff for the construction.
I don't know how that's gonna
No.
work.
It
No.
doesn't, they're gonna come back with a guaranteed maximum price contract.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Right, tonight is just a contract to start working with Connor, pre-construction services. And they're gonna come to a point where, once they bid out the entire project, they're gonna come back to you with a guaranteed maximum price of what the building's gonna cost, and you guys are gonna approve that. The amount
Right.
you're on tonight, you're voting on tonight is just the amount of, service provided by Connor only.
Yeah. Okay. So the electrical thing, we'll see that in the next meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Next meeting, right?
Okay. Sounds good. So anything else we need to know about, Mark?
Nope, those are the kind of the highlights. I think
Okay.
everything else is, still, it's in, good discussion and everything, but I just wanted to highlight those items.
Yep, all right, thanks. Anybody have any other questions about town grounds?
Yes, so are we gonna award the contract to Connor tonight?
We should, yeah,
We need to get it going.
Right,
oh yeah, absolutely. So we met with them on Friday, well, you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not this past Friday, but Friday before.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to approve.
I'll make a
Alright.
motion, I'll make a motion to award Connor the contract
let's, I'm just going through.
and now discussion.
I'm just going through their proposal to try to figure out what that means. Where's the, say, how much are we committing to them
We're
in
not
doing this?
committing anything. They're gonna come back to us with
Amount,
a bid price.
Mhm.
All we're doing is authorizing them to come up with that. Moving forward.
Okay,
well, they're gonna be the construction
That'll
manager.
be the construction.
We've
manager.
decided that among the 6 people that gave their bid, that they were almost the lowest bid, plus their local taxpayers, that seemed to make a lot of sense. So that's why we just interviewed them on the Friday, and now we have to formally give them the contract for the Connor for the construction management.
Right, so how much are we committing to in giving them the contract?
We don't have an amount right
You don't have it.
Carl,
Yeah.
it would be, it's gonna be just for pre-construction services. And that's
Yeah.
to get them on board at the table for design and
Yeah.
help us with
Okay.
establishing different design kind of approaches and building techniques. The maximum risk would be their time involved in helping design the building.
now.
So,
Their
The
bid
other
was around-
things in that contract, once there's a GMP established, you would be, their fee for the project, but they wouldn't collect that fee until they actually build it. So the risk is very minimal at this point, and it's underneath the pre-construction service, and I don't have the contract, but I think the max on it is 13,500.
So I'm just looking at the proposal, the 97-page proposal they submitted, and I'm trying to find, okay, they're gonna send us a bill. We're gonna look at paying it. What do we refer to say, okay, this bill is what we
So
agreed
he's
to?
saying 13,000. The bids I looked at were 400,000.
I was gonna say, all we're doing,
Just for pre-construction services, yeah.
we're doing is awarding them the authority to do the contract. They aren't gonna bill us anything till we start. doing something.
So we aren't awarding them any authority to bill us for anything, to do work and bill us for it?
They can bill us for anything, but
Okay, so,
the thing of it is, we have not awarded them the contract, other than they haven't given us a final bid, in other words. So when we're all done, they're gonna give us, it's gonna cost no more than 406, 408, whatever it is. And that's what we'll approve as far as that.
so if we're gonna do anything tonight that results in them doing work that they're gonna bill us for, then, wouldn't it be helpful to know how much they're gonna charge us for that, or what rates they're gonna charge us?
All I know is I looked at the bid amount was $406,000, and we
Yeah.
decided that was, because of local taxpayers, they decided that would be the best
Right.
contractor to have for
Right.
construction management. But I think that they need the formal approval to start the process.
So Mark's gonna.
Yeah, Mark,
I know you were talking, you were on the hook for 406,000, but you're not on the hook for any of that if the building doesn't get built, of course. But the only thing Connor would ask for, and I don't think they will, is for the pre-construction services, and that's one part of their $406,000 quote.
and what was that amount?
I think it was like 13.5. I'm looking for it right now. I can't believe I can't find it. It was a summary from David
Roy?
He did the summary, and the two big pieces are the general conditions and the fee for the project. And those don't come into play at this point until we have a guaranteed maximum price.
So it sounds like the pre-construction services are what we'd be on the hook for, which is what Carl's asking about. Is that correct? Yeah, because that's what they're gonna be doing, to come up with a bid, to do what they've gotta do, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so
It was 13,800.
What's that?
It was 13,800. I just found it.
Yeah, what page of the proposal is that?
It is probably not in the proposal because they had a separate fee proposal that they submitted in two parts, Carl.
Okay,
I can email you this if you want it.
I think it'd be helpful.
Okay. So to move forward,
We don't have a second on that motion yet.
who made the motion?
Scott did.
Scott made a motion to
I'll
approve.
second
Okay, you got a second. Any further discussion?
What's the motion?
Motion
He
is to,
seconded approval of Connor Construction for the management contract for pre-construction services.
yeah, correct.
With no limit on how much we pay them? I mean,
We've, I don't really, I'm not comfortable with with putting a lid on because I'm not quite sure what the amount it is. He's saying 13.3.
Mhm.
It won't be over 13.8, Seth, you should be very comfortable. They quoted 13.8, so the pre-construction won't be more than that.
Okay, so we could just say a lid of 14,000.
If, yeah, okay. I mean,
Up to 14,000.
I mean, we're paying Mark to help us out with this. If he says that that's
Yeah.
the most it's gonna be, I'm happy
Or
with that.
15,000, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to get a ballpark figure
Yeah.
somewhere. Okay, you
So,
want to set an amount of 15,000?
yeah,
Sounds good.
Okay. All right,
Do we have a second?
so up to
Yeah.
15,000.
Tom,
Sorry.
and we're up to 15,000. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we have Connor, and I think that's the only motion that we need to make as far as the town garage goes.
So one of the things that Mark touched on was they're gonna come up with how much it would save us by tearing down that building.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah,
So they're supposed to come back to us at some point with some numbers.
Yeah.
Because they said if you can tear that down, that's
Yeah.
gonna expedite everything up, probably shave maybe even a month or two off.
wow.
Yeah,
And significantly lower the cost because they can actually construct the panels
Yeah.
on site.
Yeah.
And Guthrie said he was exploring some options.
yeah,
Okay.
And I assume he hasn't done anything yet because he hasn't called me yet.
Uh-huh.
I assume he will at some point.
Okay, well, thanks for going to the meeting, the report.
I'm gonna try to go every
Okay, good.
Friday. There.
So Mark, I had a quick question on the commissioning vendor selection. Are we doing that one tonight too?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I would need to convert, is Andy on? I would like to hear Andy confirm that he's all set. We had a couple of issues at the very end that we needed clarification on.
Right,
Okay.
and I don't think that was supposed to come to us tonight, from what I remember.
was that discussed this Friday?
Yes.
Oh, what?
I just thought two emails where two people said they were good, they recommended them, but we can hold off, I guess.
Well, I'm not sure when we have to
I
include
kind of
that.
want to hear from Andy on that.
Yeah.
because He has a couple issues.
He'll probably be on, I'll try to make the meeting on Friday also, this Friday coming up. End of the week, so we can get that ironed out. Okay? All right, well, thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so the next thing we're gonna move on to is the FY 26 proposed budget. Budget. The 2024. We've got a budget. So that variance, so you've got 23 budget, 2,000,005. 24 budget, so that went up. So does this say it went up 7.8%? That's what it looks like.
8.20 for taxes.
Oh, 9.3.
Select board budget's 9.2.
And then the budget that we're looking at for 25, was that 25 or 26?
For approving 26.
26, right, so that's up 210,000,
Yep.
8.8%.
Wow.
And that included the 150,000 for the interest.
That includes every change we discussed.
Yeah, okay,
Everything.
all right.
You guys got the emails.
What's that?
You got my email. You and
Yeah.
Scott, yeah. So. There was no principal payment in the first year.
Yeah,
There's no merge, so. Yeah. Frozen. I think it's this one. Right, because that's the one you were asking me about last.
I don't
year.
have any.
Okay, I'll get it to you.
It's interesting.
It is not on the website?
I think
It's-
so.
I don't know if it's on the website.
No, it's not. I emailed everyone.
grand list could change things a little bit.
Yeah.
Hard to know,
I know.
it's really hard to know. 81 cents, eh? Three, 3.2 million.
That's
Well,
down,
that's
that's
dropping.
down from what it is now. No.
Right now,
no,
it's
it was
3.193. So she just rounded it up a little bit because we don't really know what it's gonna be. Yeah, it's gone up from 23, gone up 24, gone up significantly, actually.
Yeah, I actually have a list of
It probably is going up
like
a little bit.
the last 10 or 20 years of just get a trend. If you want to see it. But if you underestimate it, it just means that the tax rate won't be as
I know,
high next
right.
time you set it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's audible, so.
We'll know more by the time it's a tax rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably, not, it's not optimistic, so it'll probably be a little bit better.
Yeah. We know there's at least 5 new houses, so maybe the
Yeah.
assessment this year, so that's
Right.
bad.
That's gonna add a lot, yeah. So we're saying this is the worst it's gonna be is 8.8.
Yeah.
Yep, 81 cents. How? Wonder what the school's gonna do. All right, well, Bob and I did go over the figures with Michelle last, when was it?
Monday or Tuesday.
A week ago. Last Monday in the middle of the day before I left for Florida, right? So we sat down, and spent an hour going over every line. And we did get some reduced and adjusted some and seemed like we're pretty solid, ground as far as estimating,
Yes.
I
Seemed like
didn't
it-
see anything out of whack.
Yeah.
Everything's
Yeah.
pretty thorough.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty happy with it.
We did too. So I think that that's what we're gonna have to put in our town report, what we have right here.
So,
We
we're
ain't-
gonna need a motion with the final on that.
Okay, we have a motion.
I move to approve the select board budget for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of, I think I'm using that number right there.
You're right.
Yep, $2,469,268 as presented.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, questions done.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you for attending the meeting and listening to us.
And of course, that was approving it for the purpose of putting it before the voters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for your tireless work, Michelle.
What's this number you want?
2.69.
This was the number that you were asking about, remember when we were talking, you said that's the number that was presented last year.
Right,
So that's the number.
okay, great, thank you.
Yep.
Sorry.
Do you want this, Rosie? Did you have it?
I don't need it now, unless it has how many cents on it.
Yeah. I've got one right here.
Maybe a little, I'm sorry.
And then, Michelle?
Yeah.
Before you leave, we are going to be voting on this, and Article 3 is should we raise the sum of X
Yes.
as proposed by the select board? Is that this number right here?
That I don't know. Rosie,
What?
for this Article 3,
Yeah.
are we using the same 2.4 number that is in
Yeah.
the select board budget, or are
Mhm.
we using this 2.469?
Rather than the total current taxes or the net current taxes, which are the same? Because this is about raising the sum.
Do you have last year's?
Looking it up
We're gonna
right now.
compare.
Okay. Yeah, because.
No, it's 2,000,005, wasn't it?
2.599.
Yeah, no, wait.
Other money articles.
Other money articles
Yeah.
are not included in Article 3,
right.
so then it would be the 2,469.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I was
okay.
thinking, so.
Good, thank you.
Other money articles are like what we vote on the floor. and all that
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right, I'm out of here.
Well, have a nice day.
Thank you.
Safe
You
travels.
too. Thank you.
Stay warm.
Okay. Now we're gonna go on to the town warning. Yeah.
Yep.
And we might as well do the select board report too, because we're gonna in our added.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want a motion to approve this?
The warning?
Yeah,
Oh, I wanted to look it over.
we can discuss it with the motion on the floor.
Oh, we can do it that way. Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I
Make a
move to approve the town warning as submitted with the recently approved select board budget inserted in Article 3.
Any further discussion?
I'm sorry, guys, I didn't hear you. Zoe seconded?
Yeah,
Thank you.
and now we're gonna discuss it. Okay,
So I took all of the data that Jen gave me and that we heard from in the dollar amounts that we heard from the folks that presented at previous meetings.
Yeah.
Plugged them in.
Yeah.
The only formatting change that I did this year was to keep the lines in the table so that we can more easily read
yeah,
who's getting what.
right, that's a good idea.
The other significant change, I will need to have Jen, when she sets up the meeting. If you look at page 4 for the town forum, just to ask her to set that meeting up. I don't have that password for that Zoom. There are 2 Zoom accounts and I don't have access to that, so as soon as we have that information updated, I will be replacing that as well.
I think we can approve it without
Yeah,
the final Zoom information being in there, don't you?
well,
Yes.
I suspected so, but I just want to point it out.
So I have a question. We brought this up when the representative from GMT
Sure,
was
good
here, and I thought that she had missed out on something.
I know, right,
And now I see that Article 13 has
Yeah.
$14.99 for GMT, and Article 14 has $14.99 for GMT, and
Right, and that's standard. So
Yeah, it's the
one
same-
of them is for
Yeah.
the commuter bus
Yeah.
coming from Montpelier to East Montpelier.
right,
RCT does it from
Yeah.
East Montpelier up.
yeah,
And the other $14.99 was the individual
Yeah.
rides.
and that is
For-
standard, as you say,
and
they're
that is-
usually different numbers.
Last
Is it
year-
just coincidence? that
It
they're
is
the same?
coincidence, and
Okay.
last year incidentally, on the floor, somebody just rounded it up and asked us to pay them $1,500
Right.
instead.
Right,
and then everyone always asks.
yeah.
about it, and
Yeah.
always, did we just, what do you mean? Double the money? What do you mean?
Okay, well, I thought that they had
It
missed
is,
out.
the $14.99 is confusing.
Yeah, I thought they had missed
Yeah.
out on getting in one of those lines
Yeah.
this year, but
Yeah.
it seemed like.
I guess
So they
not.
are 2 separate
Yep.
things.
Thank you for making it so confusing, okay.
And I
Should we just change it right now?
actually called
Change
to
it to
confirm.
1,500
that.
right now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it can save time.
We're gonna have to talk about it anyway. Somebody's gonna raise it.
So there is a misprint on Jern Divine, which is on page 4.
Okay,
If you have difficulty accessing the forum, please call or email town administrator Jern Divine. Is it Jen? It's Jen, right?
Oh, yeah.
Jern is short for Jennifer. The R at the end comes into the middle.
I don't know, no.
It's like Chuck, you know? What's the relationship between Chuck and Charles?
Okay, anything else anybody wants to talk about? Besides the confusing $14.99? I tell you what, we're gonna have 10 questions about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee you,
For the
yes,
topic, I added something to page 85 where they have their place to talk about what they're up to.
what do you wanna add?
At the top there, at the very least, I have Article 14, page 9, actually has Article 13 answers, and 14 and 15 or whatever. Because it appears that there's one article for one amount of money they're asking for.
Uh-huh.
You know, you give them a page every year, but don't tell them what to say.
Right, if you could
But I
explain
can
it.
steer them in the
Yeah,
direction
yeah,
of saying,
yeah.
why don't you address both?
Yeah.
pieces of money that you're asking
They
for?
need to.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Right.
Yeah.
That
We'll
could
still
be
get a
helpful.
question,
So
but
maybe
it's nice
just
to answer the question by saying, look at
refer
this
to
page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We'll see.
Sure.
I'll get in touch with them last week too.
Thank you.
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
That would be good because it's always a
Right, right,
question.
right.
And now it's really confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really different, even though it's the same amount of money. Right? Oh, okay. Anything else? We can probably approve this as, because she is gonna add something.
If you're gonna add something to town report, that's not what, this is a.
Oh,
No, we're just gonna be changing the Zoom information and
Yeah,
adding the select
okay,
board
all right.
budget, so it'll be as amended.
I move to approve the town meeting warning as amended.
No, we already have a.
Yeah, you seconded it.
Yeah. We took the opportunity under further discussion,
That's
which
right.
is what I
did second
said,
it. Yes, I did.
and we already had the motion before.
Call me the-
Now we're done talking? All right.
I guess so. I can make a third motion.
Oh, hold yourself back. Okay, let's vote on something and then we can make another motion. Okay, everyone satisfied with the talking that was had, the discussion?
Yes.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes appear to have it, do have it. All right. So that is approved. Now, let's do, we gotta do a select board report. Might as well do that right now.
I'll make a motion to accept the select board report.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a number of suggestions. First one is really tiny, but it's in the third paragraph, final, second to last line. There should be a comma after leadership because the Oxford comma is consistently used elsewhere.
You know they're doing away with that, right?
And under key achievements, the first one,
Which one, where are you?
key achievement, the first one.
Yes.
In December, the town issued a request for proposals from the construction. I'd say, do we want to add something about, we just awarded the contract to Connor? So I'm proposing adding in January, the select, removing that sentence.
This is last year, so I don't think we want to do that.
I believe it's for the fiscal year that we're in.
Are we talking fiscal year? Or we're talking calendar? year?
Well, we have an expert here, Deb. Does stuff that in calendar year 2025, does that have any place in our select board report, or is it for calendar year 2024?
Sure, anything up until the day you write it.
Yeah.
Up to the day you wrote it.
The financial stuff is always fiscal year.
Right.
I mean, people are, she's talking about things that happen all the way up until December 31st. Other people are reporting up until the day they write the report.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, well, if they're reading it in March.
So if we, thank you. So if we take out that in December sentence and replace it by in January, the select board selected Connor Construction's construction management proposal. They will work with the town to select subcontractors and oversee construction.
Sure.
Language like that.
That'd be more up to date.
Okay,
That's fine.
and I can send you this marked up one, Rosie, so you can.
I'll send it to Jim.
Jen,
It's
okay.
more, it's pertinent information.
Yeah.
Then send it to me, please.
Yeah, when she makes the change.
Yep. And then similarly, at the top of the second page, equipment. An inventory of unused municipal equipment has been compiled and replaced so it can be auctioned off in January 2025. And it was put up for auction in January. The auction has started right now, if I understand the emails correctly.
It's just started though, right?
Right,
Like,
so
okay,
it was put up for auction in January 2025. Doesn't say anything about anything being sold.
Yeah.
And you guys might disagree with me on this, but under townwide reappraisal, it's a pet peeve of mine when people just used 2-letter abbreviations for states instead of spelling them out. So I'd say remove of VT altogether because it's the state, or spell out Vermont. Anybody have any problem with that?
Do you capitalize the S in state? Do you
Yeah, that's
say
what
the
I'm wondering
state?
too. If you capitalize the
The
state.
way we do when we say the town?
Uh, I don't know.
I don't think you would.
The state of Vermont, I wouldn't.
No, if you just say state.
Right, oh, not then, no.
Right, no, I don't think you capitalize it.
No.
If we take out of Vermont
Mhm.
and leave state.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking, we're
Okay.
not gonna capitalize it.
Okay. So
That really smacks of something. Okay,
Okay, great. I will, if you guys are okay with that and we approve this, I'll send it to you, Jen.
Okay.
Very good.
all right.
You gotta vote?
So is the motion put forward, as amended or not?
Sure as amended.
Yeah, we just had a motion.
Oh, we have a
But
motion.
I don't know if the
Okay.
motion was as amended or not.
Yeah, sure, as amended.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay,
And
perfect.
I'm okay with it as a second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
One, aye, yeah,
all right,
aye,
I just,
the ayes have it.
it's actually here in writing that says this grant list is staying relatively flat. It's just not gonna stay flat, there's 5 new houses, let's say, I don't know. Is it relative, I mean, the way you're projecting it, I guess you're saying.
Relatively.
All right,
covered a lot of sins.
I don't have a crystal ball, so I'm not gonna pretend I know how much those houses are gonna cost, but I've seen some of the plans, it's pretty nice.
Well, a
Good.
minimum of roughly over 600,000.
For each house,
This new state median for a new built
Oh,
house
yeah.
and in rural areas.
Yeah, but we're
It's-
assessing it at 2009 values.
The
so
lowest
even if
it's
they're
gonna
half a
be is
million
like
dollars a
600.
piece times 5, that's a lot of money.
The lowest it's
That's
gonna
2
be is
million.
a $500,000.
So that
Yeah.
adds, no, significant money to the grant list. Of course, you round,
You've
take off
added,
2
you've
zeros.
added about 700,000 in your estimate, right? Went from 3192 to 3200, so that's $70,000, $700,000.
Yeah, but you have
Add the
to,
2 extra zeros.
yeah, right.
It's gonna be more than 700,000.
Okay, so that's done. That was one of the extra things. The personnel issues that we have to go in executive session with?
Yes.
Okay, so what about the point of the moon that you want to add in, Jen? That's the,
Yeah, we just need to decide which vendor you wanna go with. So we have Du Bois King for 55,000 for the Horn of the Moon engineering and design. It includes the H&H and the permitting plan. Or SLR Consulting for 65,830. And then Du Bois King completion date would be August of 2025. And the completion date for SLR Consulting is March 2026.
So do we want to pay more and have it done later?
not really,
Not really.
Right?
No?
especially because you're dealing with FEMA.
Uh-huh.
So you gotta get stuff done in the most timely way we can.
I think we should talk about this for a long time. I make the motion for, for, Debus and King.
Yeah. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Du Bois and King. And I don't know, should we? Yeah,
Have you approved everything you need to for the town report, or are you gonna meet next Monday to approve anything
No.
more?
No.
No, it's all done.
Okay. Have you created the impact on the tax rates of each article?
Michelle's.
See that?
That generally is handed out at town meeting. if I
Yeah.
No,
recall
it's the
correctly.
page in the book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Michelle's gonna have to work with you on that.
she'll have to create that. So everything that gets approved gets impact on the tax rate numerically.
Yeah, we're talking about.
Yeah, I know.
So I just wanna know if I need to wait for them to look until you approve it, or if that's not
We're not gonna,
without you meeting about it.
we're not gonna have a special meeting about the impact on the tax rate.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get all my pieces.
You'll get that you'll get that document.
Great.
Fine. If you make mistakes on it, I'll correct it, tell me. Okay.
I don't wanna step on that.
So let's do the warrant. We should do everything that we need to do before we go into personnel in the executive session. So we've got the warrants, they're right here. Salt's a big one. Small amounts here. Not much. And today is 20.
Oh my gosh.
Here you go, here's the warrants. And there's a town administrator in your. Yeah, or Jen, or-
Jen. Okay.
You're gonna Get us up to date here.
I have one item, the ash tree contract was finalized for the 20,800 with Adam Whitney Tree Services. So I just put that in your packet as if you want to give it the blessing to sign. That was sent to the vendor for them to sign. And then we have the mailing to go out to the landowners
Yeah,
as soon as possible. We'll get that out.
Yeah.
And that's it.
yeah, not much. So that contract's here?
Yeah.
Oh, right here. Is this a copy that, who's supposed to sign this, all of us?
I think it was just me.
Just you?
I think we authorized her to
Yeah.
sign it.
Yeah, that's, we'll have to do a motion for her to sign it. I believe.
Thought we-
I think you did it
Oh,
already.
we already did that?
We done it, so.
Oh, okay. We did it last, another meeting.
Yeah.
So what do we have to do with this now?
Oh,
Just look it over?
If you, yeah,
We already authorized him to sign.
okay.
Yep. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. And your report is short. So now we can go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session under the state statute.
For the purpose
For
of
personnel.
discussing personnel
Yeah.
issues, okay.
Okay,
Do you have a second? Okay, thanks.
all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Ayes have it.
Okay,
If you're to have it, they do have it. We are out of executive session
At 6:45 p.m.
at 6:45.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Oh,
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.